I for one will go on the record and say Wayward Sisters is amazing.
Should have been picked up.
Really amazing. Should have been
picked up.
Moving on from that, you were like, you were thinking of like what characters
trying to break that
watch?
down. Well, also going back to Wayward Sisters, trying to break down why that, what was it that maybe prevented that from turning into a series, and the, one thing that I talked to her about it. We were discussing it one night over dinner, and I was like, maybe it was because it wasn't a character that was part of the core story. And if you were going to spin off Supernatural,
you said it wasn't a Winchester.
It was, and I said it because
like,
I was like, maybe because of there wasn't a Winchester involved. I thought we talked about what it would look like to spin Castiel's character off and have his garrison of angels in heaven, and maybe that was. And I said, I think it's got to have a Winchester. I think that. Thank you so much.
Also a great idea.
And she was like, well, what about? She was like, well, what other Winchesters? I'm like, well, there's Dad and Mom. And she's like, well, then go back into the 70s and tell that story. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. That's what we do. We've got touchstones that have been laid out in the mothership that are lore. Maybe we could hit those markers in a way that isn't expected. Maybe we could, and that's something that's a holdover from Kim Manners from the original, first 3 seasons. He was like, always give them something they expect in a way they don't expect it. And we're like, if we could tell that story in a way that might go, then I think we got, as opposed to just lining up and just filling in the blanks in what I'm sure we've all probably done. Fill in those blanks a little differently and tell that story just slightly different, skew it a bit to where it actually becomes a supernatural type story. And so
enter Robbie Thompson,
enter the studio, and everybody, and she and I also just went straight to the top. We went straight to the president of Warner Brothers and straight to the president of CW, and we were like, hey guys, what do you think of this? And both of them were like, we love it. Now go through the proper channels and get this.